I'd like to take a little bit of time to help you understand the lit review, which is a study of the existing conversation about your topic. Again, on your best day, you're still a high school kid, and sometimes people don't take what you're saying seriously because what's a high school kid know? And the reality is any of us who are doing research want to start with what's our deficit? What is our question? What is it that we're trying to learn? And what already have people studied about that? So as you step into the lit review, understand that this can seem like a very daunting task, but if you take this step by step, you'll realize that this actually happens very handily. The lit review is step one of your capstone process. It's scholarly research. It's finding out what the existing conversation is. It's finding out what other researchers have found out about your topic. And so it's going to begin with having an essential question. You've talked about or will talk about how to develop an essential question. And once you have that, you've got these sub questions. What do I need to know so that I can answer that essential question? Your challenge before you do anything else is to have that understanding of what it is that you want to know. The assignment is, as I said, it's daunting. Once your instructor gives you the prompt, you'll start taking a look at all of these different parts. And the main thing is this, you'll be writing this later. What happens now is what is the important part about just sort of gathering answers to your questions. So let's take a look loosely at the process. You've picked a topic. If you haven't picked a topic, you can't do research. Then you've designed your research by deciding what is my essential question? What do I want to know? What are the sub questions? What are things I need to know so I can answer that question? And then leaning into formal academic scholarly research. This will involve looking for 6 sources that you have found through pre-approved databases. Please be very careful about this. This is not a search on the free web, and this is not looking up encyclopedia entries on databases, but you're really looking for what other researchers have found when they took a look at your topic. Make sure you do that. You don't want that frustration of handing in a paper and having your teacher hand it back and say, these sources aren't adequate. So you're doing the formal research. Once you've done that, you know what your questions are. You're trying to answer this question, this question, this question. So as you read, you're going to start doing color marking. First question is my pink question. And as I'm reading, every time I see an answer to that pink question, I'm color marking it pink, and I'll probably write a note to the side so that by the time I'm done looking at my articles, I can now go back and really easily see where the pink answers are, where the blue answers are, where the yellow answers are. This can seem tedious, but this can be transformational. I used to hate doing research until I learned this process. And once I started doing this reading with color marking, all of a sudden I thought, oh my goodness, once I've done the reading, the paper is really pretty easy to write. We're going to develop what's called a source chart, which is where you take all of your pink answers and you put them in a column, and you take all of your blue answers and put them in a column. And I realize this is a little abstract right now. Once you get started with it, you'll understand it better. And once that's all in place, that source chart is like a cheat sheet. It's like when you're in a math test and someone says you can bring in one index card with whatever you want to write on it, and all of a sudden you have that information. And what you start to realize is because I wrote it down, it's really accessible to me, and I also understand what I'm talking about. Then we'll write up your stuff, and then we'll come back later on and take a look at how to make it look even better. So color marking looks a little bit like this. I'm going to see if I can push myself out of the way. With color marking, like I said, every time you see an answer to your question, you're just highlighting it. And I would suggest you also take your pen and mark down notes like this would be good introduction. This is good definition. This is good support material. Here are some statistics, because it makes it easier when you go back. Once you've done that, you're going to put it onto what's called the source chart, and we'll give you this. And you can see across the top of the chart, I've got each of my sub questions. You'll have 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever your teacher suggests. And then down the side, I've got my list of sources. And every time this source answers a question, I'm writing the answers underneath. The suggestion is this: don't copy and paste them, because with APA format, you want to use paraphrasing. So if you're reading it, just put it into your own words on this chart. Again, this can seem tedious, but what you'll realize is this: once this is done, all of the information to write the paper is right here in one place. And then you're ready to get into the Lit Review stencil. Let me get myself out of the way again. And we're giving you this so you don't have to decide, how do I put it all together? All you need to do is get into the stencil and follow the directions. See where it says full title of your work printed in bold. If you mess that up, there's something wrong, because we're telling you what to do. Your focus as the curator of this research is to gather the information and put it all together. Now, before you can do anything, as I said, you want to decide, what is your question? What is it that you're trying to answer? So start with that question, get your sub-questions written out, and then you're going to go into the databases and start to look for those existing conversations. Pull all of those articles. I'm going to always make the suggestion that you print them, because there's a different kind of learning when you print. The other option is to put them into something like Notability. But either way, you should be engaging with the text, with your color marking and your noting. Do all of that first, and then think about writing the paper later. When you've got questions, talk to me or talk to your instructor, and let's see if we can help you be successful with this.